let's move on to the East region. This is Purdue, the weakest of the one seeds. We know they're vulnerable because we all watched the Big Ten tournament and we saw them try to break a press. Gosh, man, I see who they're playing second round. Memphis or FAU could both cause them issues.
Marquette, both compressed. Yeah,
Marquette's a 2 seed. They played up to that just recently with their strong showing in the postseason. K-State, very tough at the 3, but they're outside of the octagon. Tennessee, Matt and I kind of talked about earlier on the show a little bit. Are they vulnerable? Duke is a 5. They're playing their best ball, but they're also playing arguably the best 12 seed in the tournament. And of course, Memphis FAU, which I mentioned, it's a crime that this game is happening. Both teams are better than their seeds. FAU to 9 is a criminal. And of course, we have a fun little matchup here, Jim, with Bryce Hopkins playing Kentucky. Providence, Kentucky is an intriguing matchup. Thoughts overall, general preview, Jim?
Yeah, I think this is a sort of vulnerable region. Like Kai, you I think tweeted about it. The KenPom rankings of the teams in the West,
ridiculous.
Like you have 5 or 6 in the top 11, and then TCU's not even there. When they're fully healthy, they're arguably that good. In the East, it's not that. It's kind of the opposite of it. Like K-State's outside the top 20, and they're the 3 seed. Duke is outside the top 20. Purdue is not like one of the top 3 teams at KenPom. So it's a little more vulnerable, and the matchups are not awesome for Purdue there. So we'll see how that one ends up. But the one I'm kind of bummed out, Kai, I think everybody wants to bet against Tennessee, but I don't know if Louisiana is the squad there.
That's what I said. I said it's a really bad matchup for Louisiana. It's going to be a popular pick because they see Tennessee like limping like a gazelle, Matthew, like the one that gets away from the herd. Right. But I don't think they're going to catch them. I don't think they're going to get that gazelle. Your thoughts on the general region here in the East?
I think the upper part, I'm with you, Purdue's vulnerable. And I feel very confident that they will not be a Sweet 16 participant. Memphis and or FAU, it's just an absolute nightmarish draw potentially waiting. In Tennessee, you're right, for all their tournament shortcomings, by the numbers, they're still a phenomenal team, right? They have that, we call it get off the bus eye test, just look like a bunch of football players that happen to be pretty good at basketball as well, although they struggle to score, and that's been kind of their bugaboo, not just this year, but historically. I'm sorry, I'm going Duke here. I think Duke comes out of this part of the I think Duke marches to the Elite Eight, and then they get whoever comes out of the bottom, which is probably going to be Marquette for me. I think Duke's my pick. So I'm going to ride with this whole Duke mojo.
Matt, who'd you have if Duke played the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow?
I'd probably take the Bucks, but I take Duke on the number, Jim. Yeah, no, it's just I got to keep riding it. They're just hot. Boys are hot.
Keep disrespecting Purdue like we haven't all year. It's a dumb comment. Duke, Oral Roberts. I think Oral Roberts is beating Duke. So take that.
I will be betting Oral Roberts because that's a nightmare matchup. I agree. Connor Vanover is going to absolutely torch Duke the first half on pick and pop threes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here's Oral Roberts' first half is my bet. Yeah, they're old, very old.
Every one of these 12s and 13s is old. They're all experienced. They're all good. It'll be tough.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas State, in my opinion, is the 6th best team in this region. That's how I think this region's the best region.
Yeah, I think Kansas State's a bit of a vulnerable for Montana State, Jim. I think Montana State covers that game.
Yeah, last year we were like, okay, Montana State, super physical, awesome at the paint, just need to get the right matchup to be competitive. And then they got Texas Tech's defense, which was like the best paint defense in the entire country. Mm-hmm. They got absolutely obliterated in that game. Much better matchup for them here. I don't perceive K-State as like some great post-up defense, and that's all Montana State does. They play through Bello, they play through Osobor in the paint. They can't really shoot, but that's okay. I don't think you need to beat K-State, and K-State's not playing at Bramlage, Kai. We know how awesome they are in the Octagon of Doom, but they're a little more vulnerable when they're playing in other places.
Yeah,
I think Montana State can compete there. Another one of my preferred opening round bets there, the Bobcats.
Yeah, indeed. Who are we? We're the 3-man weave. You haven't heard of us? Get out of here, Drew P. Freaking Drew P. Picks in this region. I like not Duke, Matthew, because I think Oral Roberts is going to beat him. I'm taking Marquette out of this region. I think Memphis might get to Elite Eight. Taking Marquette. Jim, you too?
This is a cue for Marquette. I'm taking Cat as well.
Yeah.
This ended up being a pretty good draw for them. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to have the cojones to pick them all the way to the Final Four, but I'm not really in love with any other team in this region. And the defense is actually starting to show up. Since February 1st, it's a top 50 defense for Marquette. It's not the fatal flaw that it seemed like it was going to be. They've got an MFer at point that can get big shots late. Ball movement's beautiful. I'm rolling with the Golden Eagles to win that region.
Matthew.
Duke. If not Duke, then I think I will take Marquette as my second horse there. However, I'm still in on this USC team. I know I've been kind of stubbornly in on the Trojans. Andy Enfield is a tournament darling, just knows how to win. Might just be circumstantial in the fact that he had good teams, good matchups. That's, he's had success based on that, but I like the makeup of his roster. Jeff Goodman, our overlord, picking Michigan State to go to the Final Four seems a little bit ambitious. I think USC takes him down first round, and that's my one. That's a landmine for Marquette. I feel like USC is the most undiscussed team in the entire field. Like, no one saw them play this year at all. They're kind of like, I don't know. There's nothing really, like, they don't have like a bona fide star like they've had in the past with like Mobley. They're just really old and long, and I think they can defend. So I like USC.
Wrong. Michigan State's beating them. Don't bet against Michigan State in their first round. I did it last year with Davidson. We had the miracle Kai reassembles his ticket with after tearing up the Davidson ticket, the total insanity. But I think Michigan State's got better guard play than USC, and I'm not really terrified of USC's interior play where Michigan State can be vulnerable. I like Michigan State there, Matt. Sorry, Sparty.
Those guards are playing well. Hogarth, Walker especially, like they've really gone to a new level. And Hauser, who got a lot of slack for multiple years, he's playing like a legit Big Ten, all Big Ten guy too.
Yeah, upset favorites we kind of talked about. Players to watch here, obviously Zach Edey, pretty important player. Oh, this is what I want to talk about really quick. So there's always popular picks, right? Popular upside picks every single year. Doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong, but there's always the same consensus picks every single year, it seems. I don't think I've seen anybody take Purdue past the second round. Does that bother you? Are you going to feel like a sheep if you get out in the second round, Jim? Have Purdue out in the second round? You're going to feel like a sheep if you take some of these 12s over 5s. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, maybe. We do call Purdue vulnerable, but like, it's not like last year where the defense was just horrific and you knew that was going to completely show up and undermine them. This year, they're much more balanced. Edey's fantastic, keeping his arms up at the rim. They never foul, so they're not going to give away any easy points. And Memphis does prefer to get to the line. They would like to get Kendrick Davis there constantly. And Memphis can't really shoot. They have really low volume of three-point shooting. FAU is very different. They will spread you out and kind of destroy you that way. I do love both those 8-9 teams. I'm probably going to be joining the sheep, Kai, and betting against Purdue or picking against them there. But, that's okay. It doesn't make it wrong. 2 years ago, Ohio, everybody picked them to beat Virginia.
Yep.
Like, it happens.
Yep.
Middle Tennessee played Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Years ago.
That's right.
Yep. That was everybody picked Middle Tennessee finished as a favorite, I think, in that game too. Okay, players to watch. Zach Edey, player of the year, Purdue. Everyone knows who he is. He's a big 7-4 guy. He scores every single time, turns over left shoulder, hook shot, goes in. Kyle Filipowski for Duke. Matthew, some say he should have been ACC player of the year. He did not win it. He just won the freshman of the year. Not a bad consolation prize. Keontae Johnson, great story this season, coming back from that tragedy on the court that he had for Florida. He's playing for Kansas State. Him and Marquise Noel, one of the best duos in college basketball. Kendrick Davis, a guy that will get a lot of press if Memphis ends up beating FAU and beating Purdue. He's one of the best point guards in the country. And of course, Tyler Kolek, the newly minted Big East Player of the Year, playing for Marquette. Fantastic player. Absolute must-watch television. We didn't really touch on Vermont, Marquette's first matchup. It's a pretty good 15 seed overall, but I'm just not sure they match up very well with Marquette.
Cool story about I didn't realize this. Russ the Court tweet about this. The Matt Veretto story, guy who played at Delaware in 2019, graduated, worked like downtown Manhattan, decided to go back to college, 1 year of eligibility left. Now he's like a legit piece. They get 15 in the title game over UMass Lowell. Kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I agree. The Catamounts have been kind of like dismissed. Like, this is not like the sexy Anthony Lamb, everyone's picking Vermont team anymore. I think they look at Marquette. Everyone kind of takes Marquette pretty seriously. And so it's like, Marquette, and then we all move on.
This is the lowest Vermont's been seeded in a long time.
Yeah, also it's a low seed for them.
Field.
They were bad in the non-con. They were kind of figuring out who they were. They lost a ton from that team last year. I think we see more of that version. I just don't think that league is very good. So that they were able to run through it, really impressive domination, but faced up against a team with an offense as lethal as Marquette's. I can't get there with the Catamounts, Kai.
Hey, gut reaction, 16 seed playing game, Texas Southern or FDU? Gut
Texas
reaction.
Southern.
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern
actually-
preseason pick to win the SWAC, by the way. They were 8th seed and they ended up winning the tournament. Yeah.